Good day and welcome to another edition of Outsider Genie, where we will try and give you some outsiders that you can get that big payout. And that is what we do at Outsider Genie. We are not tipsters. We are form analyzers. We analyze the form and then give you, the punter, the numbers on the horses that we think outsiders that can win or place. You then take that selections and add them to your own selections. Because ultimately, sometimes your selection is always the right selection, or most of the time, but you just need that outsider that can place or make the quartet pay or trifecta pay, and then you add that to your selections. Um, so this video today is sponsored by Northwest Online Bloodstock, which I will tell you a little bit more just now. You can subscribe to this channel by clicking on the button and ring the bell, and then every time we post a video, you will receive notifications. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, and that is our contact details: 0835855133. I just want to quickly run, because sometimes people don't realize, how many winners Outsider Genie, gives. Now, I've done this, summarized this for you from Friday till Monday. That's 4 meetings. I gave a total of 16 winners. So that is at the average of 4 per meeting. Some meetings we had 5 winners, like at FAIRVIEW. On Friday, I had 5 winners, 22-1, 6-1 outright selections. Let me just explain to you the difference between an outright selection and an outsider selection. When I give you selections, my first selection is always the horse that I think will win the race. And in the other 2 numbers, and I give them no particular orders, is the outsider that I think can win or place. Now, if you look at FAIRVIEW, I gave you 4 outright selections. That means that's 4 horses that I've tipped to win. All right, they're not at big prizes, but if you put them in all to comes and all of that, you would have made a pretty penny on that selection. Then on Saturday, I gave you a outright selection, not an outsider selection. So that was my first choice to win the race, Tequila at 16-1. Now, I can tell you there's not many punters on Saturday that gave this horse a chance. I had a look at, because you get the Sporting Post and they give this tips. Nobody even mentioned Tequila at 16-1. And I also give you outright Seven Patriots, and I said in my video, this horse is improving. He's got a lot of ability. And then also my outsider selection in the first race, 6-1. It was Emerald Crest, and I did say of Kumalo, it has got a good chance. Then on Sunday at Scottsville, I gave you this final occasion, 16-1. I did say this horse relocated from Joburg. He's had 2 prep runs, which was over distance too short, and I'm expecting a huge run from him today because he was running to a distance that was more to his liking. Also, Preferential, although I gave it as outsider selection, it was a little bit short in the betting, but I really fancy that. And then also ARIANOS SHADOW at 8-1, and FARLAND at opening betting was 11-2. Then yesterday at DURBANVILLE, I also gave you a few winners. Race 2, outsider selection information. He was 5-1 opening betting, but I think he did start shorter. Then our outright selection, SHINNECOCK won easily, 17-10. That was also a best bet of the day. And then I said in my preview, Harry with that race, although he was out on a merit rating against the horses, with that weight, he had a huge chance. It was also an outsider selection, 8-1. And in the last race, outside selection, Night Song, which was 5-1, but I did think he started a little bit shorter, was also a winner. So that will give you an idea of, the selections that we give. Then we have some special offers for you. Our normal package is 500 per month. But if you sign up now and get selections from now till end of September, then it will cost you 250 Rand. But if you, for the next 24 hours, I've got this very special offer. If you add 150 Rand to that, you can now get selections for the next 6 weeks from now on till the end of October. But that offer expires tomorrow night at 12 o'clock. Then, you know, the summer season has already actually started in Gauteng, so you can buy a 3 months package for 750. So you're giving it at 50% discount from now till the end of November. So that is really, I want to help you to be able to, you know, afford outside the Genie, so that you can also get those selections and make a bit of money. So what we do, you get race by race selections, outright winner and two possible outsider selections, value bets that you can play normally 6-1. If they don't win, you play them for a place and you still get your money back and make a profit. Best bets of the day, I don't give 8-1, 8-10, and even money shots. You can find that yourself. I try and find best bets that are value. Then I give you suggested trifectas and quartet selections. They often come in, and you then can either pay them as is or use some of that numbers into combine them with your selections, and then you can play that affordable PA that you can play as is or add in, and also the pick six. One of my regular people, members, just sent me a WhatsApp just now. He used my PA, and with that, he combined that numbers with a bipod, and he got the bipod 100% yesterday. I'm not sure what the payout was. So that is then those things for today. Let's go and have a look at the field for today at Turffontein. We kick off with the first race. It's a 1200-meter work riders maiden, and we're racing on the inside track. So let's have a look at the betting first. Okay, here's the betting. 15-10, number 11, Cosmic Bay, a BF 4-1, 8-1, National Liberty, Global Ransom 8-1, Local Knowledge 10-1, Frozen Palace 12-1, Ben Weave 12-1, 16-1, and Longer the Rest also 16-1. Number 5, Domino Ruler. So let's have a look here. We go down to number 16. Number 11, which is Cosmic Bay. This horse has run a few good runs. And yeah, I think the only concern on this horse is draw 10. But it's a dynasty out of a Jetmaster mare, and has run some decent runs behind Ferrari. Didn't have a long race and came back last time, and I think it just needed the run. So other selection, my other outsider selections, we're looking at number 1, Local Knowledge. Now, Local Knowledge did run a second and a fourth on a shorter distance. They put it over the 1600 meters, which I do think was too short for him. And now it's on from draw 13. But I do think that those horses with Mabaya on board is a very competent jockey, can probably place in this race. Another horse that we want to look at is number 5. That is Dominion Ruler. Now, there's a coup de grace, and I really like these coup de grace. I do think they're going to train on, and he's by Galileo. And yeah, he did show some pace last time over the 1450, but did faint. And this horse is drawn 14, and I do think that Davamanzi is going to try and take this horse to the front. And with the shorter distance, yeah, this horse can cause an upset. I think this was just going to take a little bit of time. He's had a nice race there behind Norbies, and we all know Norbies won a grade 1. So Dominant Ruler, if that comes into your quartets and trifectas, it will really make it pay. Then here we have number 3, National Liberty, with Machuela. Machuela also drawn 12. For you who don't know that, Machuela was at the jockey academy at one stage, but didn't complete. I don't know what the reason was. This horse ran well over his first race as a Portala Palace, and now he's in the probably, yeah, I do think that this horse can place over the 1200 meters. As I said, I do fancy the jockey. So let's move on to race number 2. Race number 2 is a maiden plate for 3-year-olds over 1450, and the betting as follows. Number 10, Seaways, 9-10. Magic Blaze, 11-10. Strong Casher, 13-10. Dr. Doolittle, 10-1. Let's Talk, 10-1. 12-1 Forward March, 20-1, and Longer the Rest. So let's have a look here. And I want to go down on the favorite number 10, which is my first selection. And yeah, I don't normally, I don't tip 9 to 10. And I mean, I don't like the tip 9 to 10s, but if they have the form, then they have the form. And this horse has really shown some nice form. And the Gavaya is riding, and he's riding nicely. He's riding the winners. You want two group twos on one day, drawn 6. So I do think that the Seaways is the horse to beat. But I also like the look of number 11, Strong Cashwa. Recently moved from Jeff Woodruff to Mike the Cock, as Jeff Woodruff moved down to Cape Town. I'm not sure who's the jockey going to be, but this horse didn't have a bad introduction to racing. And I think looking at the breeding, that he probably will be like, he'll be looking to run over further. And he ran on steadily, 22.4, which is a very nice time for 400 to finish. It was the second fastest. So I do think number 11 will give number 10 Seaways definitely a run for its money. Then another horse I want to look at is number 14, Forward Marvs. Is a par fork. Also had some nice introduction and has was placed third last time out. He didn't, ran 3 lengths behind, but if you look at the 400 to finish, that's not too bad, 23 seconds, although it was only the 7th fastest 400 to finish. But I think this par fork filly will definitely appreciate the distance. From draw 1, definitely a horse that you need to put in all your play. Then let's move down to race number 3. Race number 3 is another maiden plate over 1,600 meters this time. And here we have the betting. Number 1, Fireflower, 19 to 10. Sinacine, 7 to 2 on Broadway, 11 to 2, 8 to 1, Wonderful Rock, 8 to 1, Only the Brave, Perfect Passion, 14 to 1, 16 to 1, Rose Dancer, and 20 to 1, Make a Penny, and Longer the Rest. So here I want to look at number 1. My fancy in this race, number 1, although drawn 13, and that's going to just be, that's the only problem I may have. But this is Elusive Ford. This horse had a nice debut and then came back after the race, has run some 2 decent races. I'm sure the 1600 won't be a problem, but I'm not sure whether Gavin Arena is going to take this horse to the front or try and settle it and run on at the end. That, as I said, draw 13 is a concern. Then we have a look at number 3, Fireflower. Flower area, 4-year-old filly, drawn 1, and that is the Big Pink, drawn 1. But this horse, I've been following it, but sometimes it just really disappoints me when you think he's gonna run a good race. Then he disappoints, because there it ran in a handicap against Kapama, and then last time out back over the 1,200 meters against maidens, and then the horse was drifted to 16 to 1. I couldn't believe that. But definitely Fireflower in with a chance in this field. Other outsiders that we can look at is number 10, Only the Brave, Act of War, Spring Garland by Rambo Dancer. I think this horse would also appreciate the 16 meters, although draw 10, Muzi Genie on board. Did run on a little bit last time, third fastest to 400, and I think Only the Brave over the 1,600 meters, not to be left out of your calculations. And then another nice outsider I want to give you is Make a Penny. This horse will definitely appreciate the 1,600 meters, did debut over the 1,200 meters, then put over the 1,400 meters behind Louis Jing. Then it did run out a little bit, 23.1, not too bad, fourth fastest 400, but definitely the 1,600 meter will be up this alley. And this is the horse at 20 to 1 that can make the quartets and things play. Also drawn 2, where some of the favorites are wide, drawn wide, and that can give that horse the advantage. Yeah, and Perfect Passion, also horses you need to include, but also drawn 12, but also I think has run over the 1,600 meters, didn't run too bad, so Perfect Passion also to be included into your play. So that is then race 3. Let's move on to race number 4. Before I move on to race number 4, this is just something I want to discuss with you. And as I said, Northwest Online Blockstock is sponsoring this video today, and they have got a nice filly for sale called Words of Oz. It's a 4-year-old filly, crusade against the odds by King Apostle. It's had 7 runs, 2 wins. This horse won its first 2 races, won a maiden, plus a race after that, and 3 places. It's going for a price 88,000, or you can buy shares at 8,800 per 10%. So for more information, you can call or WhatsApp 061-231-0193. Guys and girls, I really want to urge you to have a look at this horse. Look at this horse, nicely bred, big horse, and she will definitely win a few more races. She's currently based in Natal. If you buy 100%, you can move it. Otherwise, if you only buy a percentage, it will stay with the trainer. But it can be later probably even moved to PE, where I'm sure it will also be picking up a few races. Here's the race record from Form Grids. As you can see, she won the barrier trial, and then she won 2 races in a row, ran a second, a fifth, and a fourth. Only been unplaced twice, but always near the winners, not too far behind. Definitely a very good investment. And also after a racing career, she can still be a brood mare. So if you want to buy a share or interested, please give me a shout. So let's go now and have a look at the betting at race number 4. Here we have number 2, Miss Khalifa 5-2, Golden Spiral 7-2, Last Going West 4-1, Gypsy Women 5-1, Nymeria 5-2, Secret Falls 8-1, 12-1, Lavette, and 40-1, and longer the rest. Now, my first choice, I just want to mention this, that the favorite is Miss Khalifa. Now, I have seen that this horse has been running there and thereabouts, but it's just not getting there. Now, and last time out, it really ran a shocker behind Pucker up. And sometimes that is the first signs that the horse is losing a bit of form. No horse, I've been in this game for a long time, can have form, the best form for 365 days a year. It is impossible. So I think that's why today it's not my first choice. My first choice is number 6, Nymeria. Now, Nymeria has had a stable change since the last run. But the thing about this horse, she's always running on a little bit from behind. Last time out, second fastest 400, and then fastest 400 to finish. And that to me is always a good sign. Today, Musieni on board, drawn 1, and I think he can place her nicely. And yeah, I do believe that Nymeria today have a huge chance. They say a change is as good as a holiday, because I've seen it so many times. And another thing that I want to point out, and that's what I always look for. Now, this horse has got last race, days left since last win, 350 days since last win. Now, you will see, I've found in racing that sometimes a horse will win now and do nothing for a year, 365 days, and then it will win a race. Now, this horse won. That's not, it's still a few days away from 356, but it's round about this time that this horse last won. And yeah, maybe it's due for another win. So this is a nice each way. This is one of my each way bets for the day. Definitely not a certainty, but I'm sure you can still, if you go each way, and the horse, even if it plays, you can still make a bit of money. So then let's have a look at some other horses that I like. Number 8. Lavalete, or whatever it's called. It's a 5-year-old mare by VAR. There's also, it's also there about 5 lengths, 6 lengths, 2 lengths, 4 lengths. Drawn 2 today. And yeah, I'm just expecting that this Stephen Moffat stable is bringing out some nice winners. This horse cost 300,000 as a yearling at the national yearling sales. So must have been a bit of a looker. And recently relocated from Natal, had 2 runs here, and I do feel Lavalette can probably run a forward race today. Then we have, I want to have a look at number 1, Gypsy Women. Gypsy Women only recently won a maiden. It's by Flower Alley. Larina on board, draw 4. I don't normally go for horses, just one in maiden, but I do think Gypsy Women probably is one of those improving 4-year-olds and can definitely maybe involved in the finish. So let's move on to race number 5. It's a merit rate of 94 handicap, and let's have a look at the betting race number 5. Here we have number 9, Wizardway 22-10, Bold Ransom 3-1, Battle of Trafalgar 4-1, Urban Rock 7-1, Whirly 10-1, Certifiable 10-1, 12-1, Rock of Africa 20-1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look at this merit rated 94. And again, here we have a bit of a problem. We were having the top horse, Bold Ransom, which is my first choice at 62.5, and at the bottom we have this number 9 was away carrying 48. You know, so it's 40 kilograms now. Was away 1 by 9 lengths. But my problem is I'm not sure how good that field was that he beat that day. So now everybody is now, you know, they think that number 9 Wizard Way will win again. And I'm not saying the horse cannot win again, but he's running against some decent sorts who are no slouches themselves. So the whole thing that one have to make out here is how strong was that maiden field. But I've got an idea with the 48, this horse is going to jump and go from draw 4, and they might not be able to catch it. But on the other hand, Bold Ransom, if you have a look at Bold Ransom, now he do deserve his merit rating, and he has won some decent races. I mean, he also won in a merit rated 60. He won by 5 lengths. So I think those two horses are going to go like the clappers, and that might be the fall of both of them. And then you would be looking at horses like this, like Whirly, that will be running on. He won his last race when I tipped it as my outsider selection. At the time that I gave it, it was 53-1, and it won by 2.25 lengths. So I think Whirly will be involved in the finish. And then also this horse from Sinton Gray, Certifiable, he has won over this course and distance, drawn 1, and he will be running on at them at the end. So Certifiable, definitely you need to include in all your bets, because if the first two mentioned, those number 1 and number 9, you know, they run each other in the ground, these horses will be running on, and I think Certifiable will be one of them. So all in all, a very open race. I don't think it's clear cut that number 9 will win. So let's move on to race number 6, where we have number 2 Magic School at 16-10, Milk Queen 18-10, Wisteria Walk 7-2, Invisible 6-1, and 10-1 and longer What You Are, and 25-1 and better the reps. I just see a number 6 Super Fine is a scratching. So let's have a look at the field. In my mind, here we are looking at the best bet of the day. Milk Queen, Larina on board, drawn 7, that is not a problem. This horse has run against the best in the country. Summer Pudding, this, I don't know what happened there. Behind Ronnie's Candy, you know, Temple Graffin. I do feel that if this horse brings his own game today, it should be race over, no problem. Has run hovering behind Cabor. There were some nice winners out of that field. So I think if Milk Queen brings his own game to the races today, it will be a race over. There are some other horses that can. Wisteria Walk, Udalakis is also not a bad horse. Has also run some decent races, 2 lengths behind Ronnie Canny. I see Warren Kennedy riding from draw 6. But yes, she was behind number 1 Milk Queen. So, but I think it can trouble my first selection, as well as number 2 Magic School, but also again ran behind number 1 Milk Queen in that race behind Ronnie's Candy. So therefore, I think Ronnie's Candy has got a beating of them. Other horses to look at, not really Invincible, probably can improve a little bit, but I think the other ones are too stronger. What You Are has run against also a bit of stronger opposition, but the form lately is a bit off. You'll have to wait for him to improve. But the Pierce Stradom on can probably run a place, so do include in your quartets. Now we move on to race number 7, which is a progress plate over 1450. And let's have a look at the betting. Here we have Asterix 2-1, put on the red light 2-1, Nafuran 22 to 10, Donnerweer 8 to 1, 14 to 1, Holy Man, 25 to 1, the others, and number 1, Approach Control is a scratching. So here we have, a few horses of chances. You will see that Asterix on this course and distance are unbeaten. 2 runs, 2 wins. Warren Kennedy draw from 1, carrying 60 kilogram. Has also run against some very, very good horses. Captain of Turanga, I don't know what happened last time. This horse was like a 4.5 million buy, but unfortunately, I think this horse will never recoup that money. Yeah, but it must have been a very good looker. Also have run against some decent opposition, but last time out really ran a bad race after the race, but I'm looking for this horse to improve, so include in all your play. Number 6, Put on the Green Light, also won a nice race last time out, going nearly start to finish, beating Riverstown. Riverstown has won after that, so also in with a chance. But I want to get down here to number 9. Um, Oh, I just want to mention Holy Man. Holy Man is probably outclassed you in terms of the merit rating and stuff, but he ran a nice race last time out and do include in all your play. But here at number 9, now this horse only had 1 run, but I've got a feeling that this horse won by 2 lengths and he won on his coconut. The jockey, didn't even extended him. He just moved up and won well. I watched the race. So this horse can be anything, but the 52 kilograms, the other horse is carrying 60. That him with this race, he might, he definitely have got a chance to go in again. So not to exclude in all your, include in all your play. Number 9, Navrua. The next we have a look at race 8. The last race on the card, very open race. Soul of Wit 4 to 1, Letitia's Angel 4 to 1, Peace on the Rocks 9 to 2, Astral Place 7 to 1, Top Drawer 15 to 2, Ululate 7 to 1, 9 to 1 Get Set, Mazzari 12 to 1, and 16 to 1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look at my first choice in this race. And my first choice in this race is number 7. Now, you might be thinking I'm going off my head, but Warren Kennedy drawn to Paul Peter. Now, this horse has run against some decent opposition, but the problem is never run over 1450. But I think that this horse, in my mind, was running over the wrong distance. Because if you look here, Ideal World, Labola by Fordwood, this horse definitely will need this distance. And I think today, over this horse, correct distance, you'll see a top run from Top Drawer, and I do select it as my also another value bet to go in today, Top Drawer. Other horses that you might want to look up is number 9, Astral Plane. Purely, I'm giving this horse on breeding. I do believe that this well-bred Willow Magic by Jetmaster Me, this horse is going to win a few races. Last time out over the 1450, ran a nice race, and I think this horse can run another race and placed again. And here's number 10, Ululate, also Ideal World by Shamatal May, well bred. I do believe that Ululate will also improve. That won over the 69 last time after being putting over sprints, and he won easily. And I do think that Ululate can probably trouble the judges against Muzieni. Then also I want to just include last year in all your bets. This horse has also got the ability to jam alley by Jalad Me, has got the ability to place and is a bit of a long shot, so can definitely, if it do come in, give you the bigger dividend. Then here at the top we have Silver, Pierre straight on for Romeo Francis. Pierre doesn't ride a lot for Romeo, but if he do, the horse always have a chance. And again here, sort of must have a chance, but I do feel that other horses are stronger. Peace on the Rocks won its maiden and last time 2.5 began Strada Stratali. Not too bad, can also be involved, drawn 3, well drawn. Mazzari, nice piece. This horse, we can't see it here, but this horse is, and when he was younger, she ran again very, very good horses. And with Lyle Hewitson on board, can also be a danger, a long shot that you want to be included in all your bets. So all in all, a difficult race, My suggestion would be, if you play a pick six, just put in the field, because you don't want to go for 5 races and then get here and wonder if you're going to win. All you want to do is when you get here, you want after you've survived the first 5 legs, is how much you're going to collect. So that brings us to the end of today's preview. I hope I can point you in the correct direction to make a few rand. And as I always say, break a leg.